Hey everyone, I'm Daryl Stringer. Welcome to episode 12 of the Builder Photography Business Show. This is where I help photographers like you with marketing, photography, and pricing. And in this episode, when I bring it up, we're going to look at what should you charge for real estate photography. Then we're going to have an open Q&A. So I've got a bit of a formula and a process to help you with your numbers. So we'll go through that in detail, so you're all really clear on how this works. And as I said, after that we'll have an open Q&A. So if you are watching live, feel free to drop any questions or comments below this video, and I'll share your comment during the show. So what should you charge for real estate photography? One way you might like to calculate your fee is to use this formula. Let me bring that up nice and big. So it's looking at business expenses plus your salary times time shooting, plus travel fee, plus editing, and plus your value, plus profit margin, and that equals your fee. So to work out what you should charge for photography, you would set your value for each of those elements, add them together, and you've got your pricing. Now, some of these values are objective and clearly defined, and some are very fuzzy and hard to pinpoint, but they are still values that you need to set. So let's go through each of these, and we'll see if we can help you figure out what you should charge. So we'll start with your business expenses. Now, hopefully you know what your expenses are, but if not, then add up all of your costs over 12 months, and you'll want to include things like your camera gear and office hardware and software, insurance for the camera gear and equipment, car costs, including the cost of gas and fuel, maintenance, insurance, and depreciation of the value of the vehicle over 12 months. That depreciation value is an important one. So look up a vehicle depreciation calculator for your area to see how much the value of your car drops over time. Next, you'll include health insurance if you need that where you are, and any other costs that are incurred by your business. So what we do is we add up all of those expenses, and let's say it's $15,000 per year. So then we need to calculate what those expenses are per shoot. And it's important here that you conservatively estimate how many shoots you'll do. So let's say that you estimate that you'll do 400 photo shoots per year. So we take $15,000 and divide it by 400, and that equals $37.50 as the cost for doing each individual shoot. So calculate your cost per shoot and write that value into the formula like this. The next element we need to calculate is your salary and what you want to be earning for your time spent shooting. So what's that time worth to you? Now, you don't want to add anything else to this. So we're only factoring in your time shooting, not your time doing other things. Okay, we're only factoring in your time shooting. So if a shoot takes you 1 hour, is that 1 hour worth $200? Maybe $50? Whatever it is, define what that value is for you and drop it into our formula. And remember, you can always adjust this later or once you see all of your numbers in here. But for now, let's go with $50 per hour. So your salary equals $50 multiplied by however long it takes you on site to do each type of photo shoot that you do. So ultimately, this value will vary If it's a 1 hour shoot, then you add $50. If it's a 4 hour shoot, you add $200. Okay, does that make sense so far? All right. Next up, we have our travel fee. So for this, we're concerned with your average time spent going to a shoot and what that time is worth to you. So for example, if you typically spend 20 minutes driving to a photo shoot, then what's 40 minutes in the car worth to you? And remember, we're not adding in other costs here because we've already factored in your vehicle expenses into your cost per shoot. So all you need to work out is what's 40 minutes of time for you. So in our example, let's say it's $30 for that time. And I mean, you can obviously adjust that for shoots that are further away, but on average, let's drop this into our formula like this, and we'll put down $30 as our travel fee for shoots within a normal distance from where we're based. Now, the next thing to factor in is your editing and what you'll charge for that. So if you do your own editing, what do you need to charge for your time for editing a typical photo shoot? Or if you typically outsource your photo editing, you'll add that value in here instead. So, for example, let's say you outsource your editing, you're doing 20 photos for this package, and it costs you $2 per photo to edit. So therefore, you would add $40 for your editing cost into the formula, and obviously adjust that value for your different photo shoot packages, depending on the normal number of images that you deliver. Next, we need to factor in the value that you bring to your clients. And by that, I mean, how does your experience help your clients achieve the results they want? So if your images are awesome and if you're getting fantastic results, then that would suggest you set a pretty high price for this. We also want to factor in your brand and where you are positioned as a business. So are you a luxury brand, which means you charge more, or are you a low-cost brand? We also want to factor in or consider your local market, because a high-end brand in a small town would charge less than a high-end brand in a big city, because real estate prices will be lower. And so the value benefit that you bring to the real estate agent's commission fee is lower. So allow that to guide you as well. Now, you might be thinking, why do you even need to charge for your value and not just your time? Basically, at the moment, you're charging for the time spent shooting, but you're not charging for the time that you spend learning and the time you spend building your business and gaining experience so you can deliver the best possible results for your clients. So this value fee, it covers those costs when you're not actively working on a project for a client, because that's part of what your clients are paying for as well. They're not just paying for your time to press the shutter on the camera. They're also paying for your experience and the knowledge you've gained that ultimately helps them sell more homes or sell more of whatever it is that they do. Okay, so in terms of finding the right value for our formula, let's use a sliding scale where you add 0 to your fee if you're at the budget end, the low value end, and you add $200 to your fee, or maybe more than that if you bring a lot of value. So don't be afraid to go high with this if you know you bring a lot of value and if you can sell that value to your prospects and clients. So place yourself somewhere on that sliding scale, and you will need to factor in your competition here, but let's say you offer a basic service for your area relative to everyone else, and let's say you're in kind of a smallish town. So let's add $20 to our formula for the value that you bring, which is very much towards the low end. Finally, we want to make sure you're adding some profit that you can put aside and make your business strong. Now, if we look back at 2020, if you were running a photography business in 2018 and 2019, and you were running a tight ship in terms of your cash flow, then you would have had very little in the bank to get you through the lockdown period. On the other hand, if you'd been putting aside $20 or $40 from every shoot you had over the previous 12 months, then you could have had an extra $10,000 to $20,000 or more sitting in a dedicated bank account that you could have accessed in an emergency situation. And having that extra security to help you through difficult cash flow times, super valuable. So let's factor that into our formula. And for our example, we'll keep it low at just $20 per shoot. You might want to set your profit margin at maybe somewhere between 10% and 30% of your total fee. And when you do that, our formula looks like this, with $20 added as our profit margin value. So now when we want to set a price for one of our services, we just punch all of the numbers into the formula. So let's say it's for a shoot where we spend 1 hour on site. Okay, so we add up all the numbers and we get $197.50 as the fee for this particular service. Now, in terms of what you personally make from this, from that $197.50, we take away the $37.50 in expenses. We take away the $40 for outsourcing the photo editing, and we'll take away the $20 profit margin because although it's your profit, we're going to set it aside in a special bank account. So it's not something you get right now, and that's the point of having a profit margin value. So when we do all that, it leaves you with $50 for shooting, plus $30 for your travel fee, plus $20 for your brand or for your value, and adding that up gives you a take-home fee of $100 for that photo shoot. So if you're doing 400 shoots per year, then that would give you $40,000 per shoot, okay, or sorry, per year as a salary before tax. And you're also banking $16,000 per year in terms of profit margin. So that way, that's money that you can set aside and let it build. All right, let's do another example for a bigger photo shoot package. And all we do is use this same formula, but we make some adjustments to it when things change. So let's say a photo shoot takes you 2 hours and you do twice as many images. So your editing fee needs to double. So therefore, we put all the numbers in like this. So now we're charging $100 for our time spent shooting, and we're adding $80 for our editing fee because we've got more photos. And when we add it all up, it equals $317.50. Okay, does that make sense? All right, so maybe another example for maybe another service. So let's say you want to offer a walkthrough video tour. In that situation, your pricing equals your expenses fee, which we'll leave as the standard rate. Then multiply your salary by the time you spend on-site shooting. So if your hourly rate is $50 and it takes you 1 hour to shoot a video, then add $50 to your formula. Then we'll add a travel fee, okay? But if you're already at the property because you're also doing a photo shoot, then you would probably remove this fee because your time spent traveling to and from the property is already covered by your photography fee, okay? So then add your editing fee for editing the video. Again, this might vary depending on how much time is involved and whether you're editing yourself or if you're outsourcing, but let's say it's $75. Next, you'll include the value you bring to your clients with this service. And this number might be different to what you set it at for still photos. So maybe your real estate videos are amazing and they bring a lot of value for your clients. So you might add $100 to your fee for the value you bring for these videos. Finally, you'll once again want to add some profit margin to the shoot. So add that on as well. And again, it could be different to your still photography profit margin value if the cost of the service is higher. So in our example, let's set your profit margin at $35. So when we add all that up, the total comes to $297.50. And then, of course, feel free to slightly tweak this price to suit your pricing table. So rather than $297.50, you might charge your clients $299. So, as you can see with this formula, you can pretty much price any service you offer. You just add the various values into the formula, add them up, and you've got a price. Of course, once you've estimated your numbers, you don't absolutely have to stick with them. So if you think you need to make some changes, then that's okay. But just be aware of what you're changing and the impact that has for your business. So again, as an example, if you feel that you need to drop your price because you think it's a bit high, what value will you remove from this formula? Now, maybe you'll reduce the number you attach to your value, or maybe you'll remove your profit margin. But then if you're not operating with a profit and you're not setting money aside, then I'd question maybe whether you really have a business or whether all you've got is a job with fairly low job security. So feel free to adjust any numbers, but make sure your business is viable as a business entity. And to do that, you need to charge enough where you are covering your expenses, all of the time you spend working on a photo shoot and editing your images, as well as your brand and all that entails with your value, plus a profit margin so you can get through difficult times or maximize the return you get during the good times. So that's really what a responsible CEO is going to do, and it's what you need to do as well, even if you're working by yourself. Okay, so in summary, if you want to know what you need to charge in your market based on your expenses and everything else that is unique for you, use this formula. Business expenses plus salary times time shooting plus travel fee and plus editing plus your value plus profit margin, and that equals your photography fee or your video fee or your Matterport fee or any other service that you offer. Okay, now it's time for some Q&A. So if you're watching live, do you have any questions or comments about what we just talked about, or anything else that's on your mind? So is there anything I need to clarify for you? If you're watching the replay, drop a comment or question in here as well. I'll reply to any future comments that come in, absolutely. So let me know if there's anything that you need clarified here, just in regard to pricing. So drop a comment in if you need some help. I'd be happy to go through anything there for you. So I'm just checking to see if anything is in there now. I'm not seeing any comments at the moment, but let me know if you have anything. Okay, just confirming that. Cool. All right. So look, I just hope that this has been helpful for you in some way. If you want to follow me on social media, you can always find more of these videos and other content that I've created out there. So you'll find me at Facebook and Instagram, YouTube and LinkedIn. Or if you want to email me, Daryl@buildaphotographybusiness.com is where you can email me if you've got anything further that you need to ask. All right, that's it for today. I hope that helps. I really do. I know pricing is a big issue for a lot of photographers. So if this has been helpful, please let me know. Or if you have any further questions, let me know as well. Look, I am just seeing one last comment. Let me just bring this up because someone has asked, What if, after all your calculations, it is still beyond market pricing? Okay, so correct me if I'm wrong. I think what you're saying there is, what if you put all those numbers together and it's higher than what your market can bear? I had someone else ask me that during the week, like, how do you deal with clients that like aren't prepared to pay those kind of rates? Uh, that's a really big issue. I might actually do a whole episode about that next week, and we'll get into some depth on it. But really briefly, I think it would require you to either educate some clients or to in some way just look at your costs and what you can do there. But really, it's about showing people the value. When they understand the value that you bring, then they're going to be willing to pay for it. If they don't understand the value, if you look the same as everyone else, then they're going to say, well, why should I work with you instead of the other cheaper photographer? But I want to expand a bit more on that and flesh it out a bit further. So I think we'll deal with that in another episode, maybe next time, maybe in a couple of weeks from now. All right, let's leave it there for now. I'll see you all next time. Thanks for joining in. I hope that helps, and I'll catch you on the next show. All right, bye for now.